Everything I'm about to tell you is stuff I wish I had learned when I was younger. Yeah, I'm a birding expert, but it just took a long time to get here. If you've ever been out with an experienced birder, or perhaps even on a professionally guided tour, what is the one thing you've never seen the expert do? Pull out a guidebook to identify a bird. Here in northern Maine, it's very early April. My lake is still frozen. There's snow on the ground. The wind is blowing straight in from Canada. No spring migration coming in today. Let's level up our identification skills before the migrants get here. By that, I mean let's improve our skills to the next level. When I'm guiding, people ask me, how did you identify that bird so fast? Well, they don't ask, but they should. Guides have secrets. Here are two secrets maybe they don't want you to know. Number one, they all started out as beginning birders. Nobody starts as an expert. Everybody starts out right where you might be right now. I'm a pretty good guide, but it's only because I made a whole lot of mistakes over my lifetime while nobody was looking. In fact, I still make a lot of mistakes, hopefully when nobody's looking. Look, if you're a beginning birder, celebrate it, because there's so much excitement ahead of you as you level up, as you learn some of these tricks to get to the next level. Speaking of tricks, you know why experts can identify birds so quickly? They already know where they are. Most of the time, when you're being guided by an expert in a local bird walk, or maybe a professional on a guided tour, they've already been to this location many times. They know where the birds are. But, and this is the big but, experts are on a totally different level. They've got tricks up their sleeves that'll help them in a place they've never been before. Birds are giving off all kinds of identity clues, and the experts are just using all of these clues to make a quick identification. Wherever you are in the learning curve, the big question is, how do you get to the next level? No, wait a minute. The big question is, what is the next level? I suggest there are 5 skill levels in identifying birds, and everybody starts out at level 1. Level 1, where everyone needs a guidebook. If you don't have one, you can use one of mine. I get dozens. Nowadays, there are even apps for doing this kind of thing. But the app is doing the same thing you are, using size, shape, color, field marks to pick a bird out of a police lineup. The problem is the birds aren't going to make it easy for you. There's variations in plumage because of age, sex, season. Most people never get past level 1. And why should they? The whole point of watching birds is because it's fun to watch birds. So enjoy looking. But to find them faster, on to level 2. Knowing what you're hearing, birding by ear. When people ask me how I identified a bird so quickly, or don't ask me, it's because the bird told me. Birds identify themselves by song, and they make a whole lot of other noises. They talk to each other, and I eavesdrop. Birds identify themselves by song. Imagine the power of being able to identify a bird without even seeing it. Did a video on that a little while ago, and I'll link that at the end of this one. The truth is, there are some birds that you can only identify by ear. Can you tell the difference visually between an alder flycatcher and a willow flycatcher? You can't. Nobody can. They're identical. But their songs aren't. Alder flycatcher. Willow flycatcher. Willow flycatcher, much more like a sneeze. How about American crow and fish crow? I've watched a nationally famous ornithologist identify a fish crow by sight, only to have the crow caw like the American crow it really was. And nobody batted an eye because they just look alike. Fish crows typically do a 2-note call. It's sort of like Flipper the dolphin, or a bird saying no, as in I've never been able to tell northwestern crow from American crow. Fortunately, they lumped those back together in 2020, so I can't screw that one up again. But I digress. The point is, nobody can learn them all at once unless you're really, really good at languages. It's going to take some time at level 2, which doesn't keep you from skipping right to level 3. Level 3, understanding range maps. It's not just about where the bird is standing, it's where you are standing. It's a lot easier to identify a bird if you know it's within the range of your location. Start easy. Get to know what's around your home. Get to know what's around all the favorite places you like to go. If you are going somewhere new, Study what is supposed to be in the area you're going to be in. There are range maps in books, there are range maps online, there are apps with range maps, and I've gotten so reliant on eBird. Made my first trip to southeastern Arizona last year, and I just used it constantly. I used Merlin too, at least until I could identify the birds by ear on my own. I thought finding an elegant trogon was going to be wicked hard. Turns out they have a unique barking call that I heard just about everywhere in the right habitat. I never had such an easy time finding a difficult lifer. The point is to have some kind of mental inventory of the birds that are supposed to be in the location where you are, because they're a lot easier to find and identify if you already know they're there. Level 4, knowing how to find a bird by habitat. It's a lot like level 3, except now it does matter where the bird is standing. Birds are really picky about the habitat they want to be in, and if you know what that habitat is, you can often identify a bird before you see it, before you even hear it. A few years ago, I did a project for Maine Audubon. They had set up listening devices on land trust properties set to record the 3 hours around dawn to see what was singing. They wanted to know what birds were present, and that was a cheap and easy way to do it. And so they had experts listen back and identify everything that was heard. Without even knowing where the recording took place, I could picture in my mind what the habitat must look like based on the birds I was hearing. Black-throated blue warbler, lots of beech and birch, maybe some balsam fir. Ovenbird, pretty good understory. Pine warbler, pines. Canada warbler in the distance, probably a wet, damp thicket of some kind, not that far away over there. And here's why. Canada warblers nest in wet, dense, damp areas where you would never walk in. Later on, they showed me photos of the place where the recording took place. Oh my God, nailed it. I could actually see in my mind what the place looked like just based on the birds that were singing in a habitat that they liked. If I see a thick stand of spruce and fir in the North Maine woods, I know there's a boreal chickadee in there somewhere. That's what they like. Morning warblers are kind of hard to find in Maine, but in the North Woods, if I see a clump of regenerating brambles, maybe with some maples for shade, in an area that has a lot of spruce, that's where I'm looking. In other words, you can sometimes identify birds even before there's something to identify. It takes a little practice and experience, but you get to level 4 when you just take the time to observe what habitat is the bird you're seeing in. Level 5, identifying birds by what they're doing. You see a bird walking headfirst down a tree. You know it's a nuthatch. Woodpeckers, black and white warblers, brown creepers, they can walk up a tree fine, but not so much down. Around here in Maine, it's red-breasted and white-breasted nuthatches doing it. You get south of New Jersey, and it's brown-headed nuthatches doing it. Some warblers like to forage high. Some forage low. Some warblers like to be right out in the open. Some like a little bit of cover. American kestrels are falcons that hover. Merlins don't, peregrines don't, kestrels do. While circling in the sky, black vultures flap much more than turkey vultures. So, level 1, identification by sight. Level 2, identification by sound. Level 3, knowing where you are and what's available where you are. Level 4, knowing the habitat preferences of what's around you. Level 5, recognizing bird behaviors and using all those clues to make a fast and easy identification. All right, bonus tip. Many birds are bad at poker. They have a tell. It's one thing they do that no other bird does, and if you see it, you know right away what that bird is. Playing poker with birds, that could make a good video. Want some good examples? Tell you what, while I pull that whole list together, watch this eastern phoebe bob its tail.